Sup, dog? New season means new meta. A viewer came to my stream and was like, dog, I can't believe Apple reacted to your video. And I'm like, Apple man? Apple papa? Apple Jackson Masinamon. Now again, I've only been playing for 2 months, so I don't know all the celebrities. I only know a few of them now. But my viewer was like, he is the Michael Jordan of the finals. And I was like, this guy, Appoh, he's some Michael Jordan, dog? And then my viewer was like, more like the Dennis Rodman, not really the Michael Jordan. So I got conflicting perspectives of who Appoh is. From everybody telling me about this man, they say he's legit. So I gotta see his like top 10 most awesome tournament wins. But he had this really cool clickbaity title, 6 meta loadouts for you noobs. And you know what? Even though I'm godlike and I'm the best, I'm also a noob. So all right, let's look at the comments. Let's see. His description is, here is your starting point. Excellent. I need a starting point. Thank you, Sensei. Let's see. Sanguinine Knights. Man highlighted my loadout. I'm onto you, Appoh. Damn, dog. So you're good too? Richie G says, new mat season is awesome, but anyone else knows a huge surge at third parties? Maybe it's new players or spawns. I have not seen a surge of third parties, but I have seen new players, and new players like to upset another team, dog. All right, Cheeseburger said the stall at 11:33 in the B-roll is glorious. And Zero said 13:37. Nice. So I guess you've been doing some cool ass shit. That's awesome, dog. I can't wait to see. Your video's popping that it doesn't even have comments loaded up already. They're all typed. They're like, oh, you're so cool, dog. Look at that cool shit. You're like amazing, Appoh. All right, since he's so amazing, everybody loves this guy. Let's see. Your 6 meta loadouts. I want to see if your loadout strategy and your loadout perspective, I want to see if I could learn from the sensei. So whatever 6 meta loadouts you have now, I'm probably going to pick one of them tonight to stream with it and see if it's good. I don't know. I could probably hate it and say, fuck this shit. I'm doing my own shit. Honestly, I always do my own shit. But for the sake of content, for the sake of getting good, I'm going to listen to the Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan of the finals.
Getting into a pretty good state in terms of the balance. There are a few things that I think are a bit of an outlier. And for the most part, I don't think the meta has shifted too much from the last season. And as a little warning or a caveat before we get into the
warning,
loadouts,
I'm ready.
One thing I really want to stress is that I don't think we're in a state of the game where you have to use a certain loadout or that there is some sort of really hard meta.
Lies. He knows there's a certain way because if everyone copies him, he won't win grand finals. I know what you're up to. There's big pharma, there's big media, where you're big finals, dog. Big finals.
Meta, per se. What I think the reality is right now is you can kind of just make anything work. And I think my team in pro play is a good...
What about Spear? What about Spear?
Good example of that. The meta had been very stale. We were kind of using all the same thing. And then when my team came along, all of a sudden we're now seeing pyro mines in pro play. We're starting to see some explosive mines. We're seeing tons of KS-23. And before that, those were basically just non-existent. So I think it's really important to just use whatever.
Yeah, KS-23 got a huge damage buff. I mean, you still got to learn how to aim with that gun, but that's a huge damage buff. And it could blow up walls within 2 shots. So it's very, very useful.
You want, have fun with it, and just try to master the things that you are good at. I think the way that I look at it is, well, if I play this specific loadout that works for me, I can be the best at that loadout versus trying to compete with somebody else who's already been playing the meta and try to be better than them at it.
You know, that's real talk. That's why you're a professional at this, dog. I know when I was playing light, everyone's like, oh, pick M11, it's the best thing. And I played M11, and I'm like, M11's good if you just like want to shift W as a light and just get close and just hip fire and just whatever, right? But for me, since the light has like no life, you can't really afford a lot of mistakes. So my philosophy of light is you need a loadout that either hits hard before you die, or a loadout that's like kind of like squishy, but could like go in, cause a little ruckus, and then come out alive. You know, hit and run tactic. And I think that's why I naturally just go to the sniper or like, you know, maybe the bow. That's like a shitty sniper, but you know, anything that got hit hard. And if I want something like a sustain at all the ranges, I'll do the MP5. Hell, sometimes I do a double barrel with cloak just so I can like get in there, get a kill, and get out. And for me, I find that successful. When I try to play M11s or 93Rs or any of the other like weird guns to me, I don't perform well. And I think it's also just a player style. But yeah, basically what you said is true. Whatever works for you, just get good at that, double down, and maybe you could change the meta. I don't know, dog.
I would rather just play my own thing and be better than them at my thing.
Hell yeah, dog.
That holds true for most of my team, especially with Akazo, who uses goo gun and basically is like the only goo gun player. So please.
Is that the Asian guy that has the goo gun I see on like TikTok and Instagram and everything? He's got the one where he shoots like a bunch of goo and just like blows up the whole building. Real talk, that guy was my first celebrity that got me to play the game. I saw some YouTube slop that says the best game you've never played. And I clicked it and I was like, that looks aight. But then I saw that dude and I was just like, what the fuck? You could do that in that game? And he was doing some cool shit, dog. So if that's the same guy that we're talking about, yo, props to him, dog. I wouldn't be playing the finals if it wasn't for him. So you can go to his manager, you can go to his boss and say, dog, the PSYOP is working. We're getting people to play the game.
Don't take this list as like, this is the only thing that you can use. We're definitely not in that stage of the game where there's only one load.
Oh, and I just said the Asian guy with the goo gun, but he mostly plays dualies. I don't know if that's an extra like sort of thing, but he plays dualies with goo gun. Pyromine, I think. Yeah, whatever.
For every class, get creative and find some synergies. So as we get into this, let's start with light. We have Evasive Dash, V9S, Infuser, Gateway, and Vanishing Bomb. So basically...
Okay, first of all, the V95, I like playing that gun, but it doesn't hit hard enough for me to want to keep using it. It's a great hit scan weapon. And Dash, dude, I don't know about Dash. I rather use Grappling Hook. Gateway is just an awesome tool just for like... just in general, the fact that a light could put a gateway at the box, go hella far away, throw another gateway, and the box and the team gets there, it helps heavies a lot. And Vanishing Bomb, I mean, Cloak is so good, dude. There's like literally no counter to Cloak except for your eyes. And if you're playing against old men who just have shitty vision like me, then it's so good. It's so strong.
The same thing we had before. However, the 9-3R is no longer here. I think with the nerf to it, it's going to fall a little bit under what is, you know, the top pick.
That's right. 93R did get nerfed. That's why I didn't like it, dude. It didn't feel good.
I would say for the most part, if you're trying to maximize your TTK, depending on the range, you're going to want to go with the M11 for close range, V9S for that sort of mid to close range, and LH1 for some long range. There are stuff like the ARN, the XP, some other weapons that you might be able to use in sort of the medium to medium long-ish range. The 9-3R is honestly still pretty viable. Despite multiple nerfs to the H+ Infuser, the ability to burst heal anybody is just so valuable that I think they could probably nerf it even more, and it would still be like a must pick for this class. Gateway, as expected, is...
It's a must pick for any heavy. If you have a heavy composition, I wouldn't mind just healing them, dude. The healing gun is just so strong. I mean, hell, even like medium and heavy is strong. It's just healing a character that has just a shit ton of health so that heavy can make more mistakes and get away with it is super meta, dude. And you mentioned the XP. Is that like the MP5 knockoff? I love that gun. I think that's like the best gun for light if you just want to go in and out and be just good in all ranges. Every time I'm like having a hard time like shooting sniper, or anytime there's just a lot of dive players and my sniping skills just suck, I go with the MP5, dog.
Still in the meta, and it's still extremely strong. I think this is one of the few gadgets.
Ooh, like look at that, dude. Look at that. You telling me from that fucking range, dog? That fucking range you got with the MP5? That's why I play the MP5, dude. That's so strong.
And then Vanishing Bomb allows you to have the ability of Cloak along with having Dash, so it kind of combines the two. Despite the Dash nerf, I don't think this really affects how effective it is. Realistically, it just punishes people who end up too much in the open, and it also punishes dagger players specifically, since Sword can kind of get around with the right click anyways. The nerf to Dash definitely is going to hinder dagger players quite a bit, but with the increased lunge, I've been seeing some good success from dagger players, so realistically...
I haven't seen any good dagger. I know dagger could be viable, but not really, dog.
Isn't really going to affect you too much. In the reserves, the two gadgets I have here is Glitch Grenade and Sonar Grenade. Now with this season, we're seeing a lot more heavies, and we're going to get into that later on, but the Glitch Grenade is going to be fantastic for dealing with teams that are running double heavy. And then Sonar Grenade is good if we're seeing a lot of Cloak. Obviously, since we have the Evasive Dash nerf, Cloak is kind of gaining some popularity, and Sonar Grenade is a fantastic counter to dealing.
Yeah, that's like the only counter. There's no thermal vision, and again, your only counter is just your own eyes. So having sonar or any type of like radar, sonar, whatever equipment have you, I think there's like the mine version, the detector. You have to pick that against that shit if you want an easy counter.
With cloak players. Now on to our cloaking device loadout. We have the M11, the Sonar Grenade, Gateway, and the Glitch Grenade. So because we don't have evasive dash, I find Sonar Grenade is extremely valuable on a cloaking device player because this means that they can sort of scout ahead, and as they're pushing into rooms, if they end up getting caught out, they don't have that evasive dash. So having Sonar Grenade to sort of scan ahead before you go into a building, before you go into a spot means.
But what happens if you get into somebody that has a bunch of goon stuff? Like you're just relying your other teammates to blow up holes in the wall. I would use the thermal shot or whatever it's fucking called to just blow up walls and then cloak in to go in. Because if their defense is solid, like what are you going to do?
That you're less likely to get caught out since you don't have that instant escape button that the evasive dash is. Instead, you have Gateway, which is kind of your instant out. So you want to make sure that you're pre-placing gateways a lot more often as cloaking device players, so that way you do have an instant out.
All right, that
makes
makes
sense.
sense.
Glitch Grenade with cloaking device because often you are scouting from high ground, and if the enemies are rolling up with some dome shields mesh, then you can just throw it at them. In the reserves, we have the V9S and LH1, same as the other one. Like I said, there are some other weapons.
V9S with cloak. Usually when I use cloak, when you go into cloak mode and you go for an ambush, and let's just say you target another light, and you decloak and you throw your damage, you want to hit it as hard as you can, as fast as you can. M11 short, that won't be my pick, but it is very strong, you know, up close and personal as a dive character, right? The V95, I don't think that's good with cloak because, okay, let's just say this. You cloak, you uncloak, you shoot him a couple times in the head, you might kill a light. What about a heavy or medium? It doesn't hit as hard as you think it does, and then you go away and you have to recloak, and then you're just playing a cat and mouse game. I don't know, man. I think the LH1 is fine and the M11's fine. The V95, I don't like air dashing, but the V95 is better for the air dash and not for the cloak. Why not double barrel? I know it's not good for like mid or far, but you definitely could get a kill or two, you know, close up.
In the class that you could consider. I personally use XP whenever I play light. It's just the most comfortable for me, and when I used to main light back in the day, I played tons of XP and bow. But since the bow combos are kind of dead versus light, then I don't really use bow much. I just use the XP. And then we also have the healing infuser in case we have any struggles making sure that our team is staying alive. Then the H+ infuser is a really good one to throw in there. And
Yeah, true.
Because with the buff to breach charge, it's actually extremely valuable with cloaking device. The combination of breach charge and cloaking device is very strong, and a lot of people are just completely sleeping on it. I highly recommend trying this out. It almost acts as if it's like a slower DMAT, so you can open up holes everywhere. You can also play drop with it.
A slower DMAT with cloaking device and breach charge. Now, you're just saying cloaking device and breach charge together, or just breach charge in general? If it's just breach charge in general, could you do this as a dasher or a grappling hook man? I guess maybe if you cloak and nobody sees you, and then you get to a wall, and then you breach charge, and then you could blow it up. Yeah, I can see that. Usually, I like that, like, thermal blast gun, whatever it's called. I keep forgetting what it's called. Thermal charge, whatever the fuck, dude. It's the one that you shoot, and then you could put another tube, and you shoot another tube, and it blows holes. I really like that. It's instant. It's satisfying. It gives me a hole to go through. Breach charge, I don't use that often. Maybe I should.
Which is a nice bonus, but it's not really the intended purpose of breach charge, in my opinion. You just kind of want to open up a bunch of angles so that you can see the site specifically. Or being able to get around. If you get caught in a building, you can just quickly get out. It's really good for being sneaky. Now on to medium. We have basically the same loadout we had before.
Okay, tell me.
Healing beam, the revolver.
Same old.
We also have the CB
I like that.
And the model in the reserve. I think with the model buff, I could see people using this a little bit more. Obviously, since medium isn't the most popular in higher elo, we tend to see a lot of heavy light.
Okay, real talk. Lefty LH1 Leafy is here. He had a video and I reacted to it. I said, dog, revolver fucking sucks. And then he came to my stream and he said, what up? And then he forced me to play revolver. And man, I love revolver for that one day. and I respect it. That's not my type of gun though. But my homie G Peaches, he always plays with me when we go rank. He loves the 357, man. And I was like, okay, hold on, hold the phone, hold up, wait a minute. I went to the finals main page. I looked at the last two like ranked like matches tournament where you get all the women and all the booze and all the money if you win. And most of the time for medium, it is revolver. So every time I play the medium class and I play any other gun, I feel like I'm not playing what I should be playing, which is the revolver. It's always calling to me. The 357 is calling me all the time like a family member that says, dog, I want some money. And I'm like, I've already gave you all my time and money.
Or heavy, light, light. We are seeing some HML, a lot of heavy, heavy, light, or heavy.
Dog, I thought I was having a seizure. I hit play and I thought my thumb was resting on the play button. It's just you, dude. What? What? Let's do it again.
Heavy, light, light. In higher elo, we tend to see a lot of heavy, heavy, light, or heavy. Light.
Oh my God! What? I don't know. I don't even think I hit tab that much. You hit that tab button to see the stats as fast as you would shoot a V95, man.
Light, light. We are seeing some HML for sure, and we're also seeing HHM come back into style. We're seeing a lot of dog walking, as it used to be called before, where you basically have these two heavies and you just heel beam them and sort of walk with them. And if you're getting super aggressive like that, I could see the model actually being really strong in that type of meta. I also have in the reserves the zipline and the APS, so if we are going to go with a double heavy comp, I think the zipline is fantastic instead of using goo grenade, because you have your two shields for you. You don't really need the goo grenade quite as much.
I love zipline more than jump pad. I know it's blasphemy, but most of the time I'm playing jump pad, or I'm playing with people that have jump pad. They use a goo grenade, they put the jump pad on, they jump on, and they go out like a catapult. But if I throw a zipline at the same distance, I reach it further. I get to my destination further and faster. I mean, if you're on zipline, everyone knows what trajectory you're going. You're going straight. So it's not really good for offensive. But again, if you have like a couple of heavies with like mesh shields, or even a melee, if anybody plays that anymore, since melee's dead this season, it's easy to just do like a sword or like a shield block on the zip.
I also have the APS since it did get a buff. I know a lot of people in EU tend to use APS quite a bit, especially if you have Winch Claw on your team. It can synergize really well by placing the APS turret. You winch the cash out into the APS and it removes all the mines, all the C4s, anything that's placed on the cash.
Oh shit, really? That's a cool play. I did not know it could do that. I thought the APS turret only counters nades. I did not know it could counter all the bullshit on the cash out, dude. I might have to try that. Interesting. So you throw an APS turret, you get a winch, you pull it, and as long as it's in the proximity, it just nullifies everything?
Cash out. Also consider Data Reshaper if you guys are into that, since the buff to that, where you can data reshape.
I'm never playing that. That shit's a waste of space.
Any lights. If you end up facing a team that doesn't have any lights, which we are seeing a little bit of after the dash nerf, then Data Reshaper might lose a little bit of value, and maybe APS could be the way, because you could, just eat up two of those RPGs. Now for the next medium loadout, we basically have a mobility and almost like a light replacement.
Pike? I think Pike is garbage. Oh my God. Okay, sell me on the Pike. Every time I play the Pike, I fucking hate it. I don't think it's good at all. I don't think it's good as a dive. I don't think it's good as a poke. I don't even think it's good as sustain. But if you are the top player and you get top 8 every fucking time, let's listen to the Bugs Bunny of Space Jam himself. Appoh, tell me, dog.
So we have Shockwave. I'm using the Pike here since it did get a buff and I've been testing it a bit. It's actually not too bad. And then I also have the Data Reshaper, like we mentioned before, is a really strong pick in order to counter a lot of things in the game, especially with the double heavy and the lights. Like if you ever see that comp, Data Reshaper is really good. You can remove dome shields, you can remove RPGs from the air, you can remove gateways. It does a lot of things to counter that comp, so definitely have this in your reserves, especially for this type of loadouts. And
even watching your play with the Pike. If there was any other gun, they would have been dead. And you know it, dude. Hell, even the 357, the gun I fucking hate, could kill that shit, dog. I didn't even hear any word you said. I apologize. The Pike play is not selling me.
Almost like I said, your light replacement. So this is kind of like bringing Glitch Grenade. We also have the zipline and the jump pad together. This is just to provide you and your team tons of mobility. In the reserves, we have the CBO1
Ooh,
repeater.
good
and
stall,
the
dog.
Revolver. Again, two things that have been in the meta for quite some time, and obviously since the FCAR got nerfed and it never really quite was in the top tier meta, it was more of a meta in the lower elo, then I don't really have it here. But if you are into full autos, the FCAR and the AK,
I think the pike is perfect in that range. Kind of like a pseudo sniper, but even then, a medium should be close to mediums for healing. It's not really a good DPS character.
are still like passable, even though they're not quite the best. And the FAMAS is honestly pretty good if you are into burst weapons. I also have the defib and the goo grenade in the reserve if you feel like you need that survivability, or if you feel like you really need to be.
You know, I just noticed that. You don't have defib as one of your main gadgets. You have it as reserve. Is defib that bad? I mean, you get somebody quick, they have half-life, and they can't use any abilities. So they're kind of like a sitting duck. I know there's some times where the defib does come in place, because if you defib and then heal them back to full health, then it's a problem. Especially when you're next to a couple of heavies and you defib a heavy, it's still half-life of a heavy. Maybe this loadout's only good if you're having a team of other mediums and lights. I'm not so sure.
Defibbing your team. But like I said, this is more meant to be a replacement for light. So this would be like a heavy, medium comp. If you really want to play medium.
Heavy, medium. Okay, that makes sense. All right, yeah. You just answered my question as soon as I said it.
With the pike and try to disrupt enemies. Now on to heavy. So we have mesh shield here with the Lewis gun, RPG, C4, dome shield in the reserves.
Okay, I might be really autistic, but in my head, how I group certain weapons, let's just say you play medium and you have AKM, FCAR, and like a P90. AKM is good from here to here, from dive to poke. FCAR, you could do it here, but it's not really that good. It's basically like here to poke range. Like this zone, horrendous. And then the P90 is just like... Now, the heavies version, I feel like the Lewis gun is the AKM, but for heavy. I get more consistent kills when it's here to here. The M60, I feel like, is the FCAR for heavy. I get kills from here to here. But here, oh, no way, dude. I have to like zoom and zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, just to try to get some bullets on like a fast light. And then the minigun is just a P90. It's just like you just spray. But that's in my autistic head. So for me, I keep trying the Lewis gun. I don't like it. I like the far range, because most of the time when I play against certain teams, their dive characters are going to out dive my dive. So for me, I'm thinking a weapon that counters those dive players. I need to hit them harder from longer range before they even get a chance to get to me.
We have the SA-12, the KS-23, the healing emitter, and the explosive mine. So, I mean, the basic loadout here of Mesh, Lewis, RPG, C4, Dome Shield isn't really anything special. We've had this meta basically since the dawn of time. It was usually the SA-12, but I think the Lewis and the SA-12 are kind of interchangeable now depending on the map. So for longer range maps, I find the Lewis can be quite valuable. And a special note to the KS-23 in the reserves. After the buff, we're seeing a ton of KS-23.
KS-23 is fucking good, dude.
Lobbies, we are seeing a double KS meta. So basically both heavies are basically just running KS because they synergize with each other, and they also delete other heavies. So if there's a bunch of heavies running around using KS, then you just bring KS to counter the heavies because it chunks them really hard. You can
it's so good.
After
it's so good.
3 shots, and then a quick melee or the new kick that does 25 will finish them off. Now the way I typically run Mesh is with the KS, the RPG, the healing emitter, and the explosive mine, which is why I have it here. And yes, you could totally consider Shack. Shack is also great. But I really wanted to highlight that the KS-23 is very strong. And
you know what? I love this part. I love this part in the soundtrack. There's a song called Galaxy Masters. It's so disco-y. It feels like Jamiroquai just showed up. It's like, you guys playing the finals? And he's like, that was my Jamiroquai impression.
100% a meta pick at the moment.
Yeah, see?
I'm curious to see if it stays within the meta.
Let's go groove, dog.
I'm pretty confident that it will. Next, we have a heavy winch loadout, so we have a with SA-12, RPG, C4, Dome Shield. I know, same as it was before. There really wasn't too much of a shift for heavies meta.
Hold up. SA-12 and winch? I hate the fucking SA-12. I get better results with the Shack 50, dude. But let's hear him out. Let's hear him out. Is it because of the mag capacity?
I think the main thing is that KS-23 is a lot more dominant now, whereas before it was gaining popularity after I was using it in pro play. but since we are at this point where it just got a buff, it's definitely here to stay. I don't really think KS has the best synergy with Winch Claw, but there are some new kill combos, like versus Medium, where 2 shots with it does 220, the Winch Claw does 5 damage, so the remaining 25 HP is just enough for your kick to finish off the Medium. So you could consider using KS and the Winch Claw if you'd like. However, I still find the Shack and the SA12 synergize a little bit better.
Yeah, dude, I Shack all day, day, dog.
Winch quite a bit, and I really like running it with the Goo Grenade instead of the C4, but basically just RPG Goo Grenade and Dome Shield. I basically just copied this from Llama. So if you guys don't know, Llama had been using the Sledgehammer in pro play a couple seasons back. A lot of people were frustrated, including myself, who was competing at the time, because he was basically the only one doing it, and he was absolutely stomping lobbies. But I obviously have tons of respect for anybody who's willing to use something off meta and really shake up the way that they play. And with the changes to Sledgehammer, I've been using it quite a bit and honestly been having a blast. I love the new precision mechanic for the melees. It's kind
whoa. Let's see that one more time.
And honestly been the way that people play.
Because you missed that.
I've been using it.
You shoot him.
And honestly been having a blast. I love.
Dog, your crouch slide was so good. I thought you were playing light. Yo, props, dog. Props for that.
The new precision mechanic for the melees. It's kind of exactly what I wanted, but I had no idea how they could get there, of making it a little bit more skill-based, a little bit more complex, but I think they did a fantastic job, and I have been loving playing melee. I also have Anti-Grav Cube in the reserve because I just love the synergy between Anti-Grav Cube and the Winch Claw, lifting up the...
How can you do some cool-ass shit, and then that happens, dude?
Show, and then winching it away is always going to be satisfying, so you can always just replace your C4 with this if you like that. And again, I'm going to remind you at the end here, because I know a lot of people can get very frustrated with metas. Realistically, these are just loadouts to sort of start your meta journey or your loadout journey. For myself, I often never use the meta in games. I just use whatever suits me, and that's sort of what is meta to me. We know meta now as a backronym for most effective tactic available. And for me, the most effective tactic is always going to be whatever I'm best at, versus trying to force somebody else's best playstyle. So whenever I get around to making an off-meta loadout video, I'll be showcasing my loadout there. I also intend to do a 6 loadout video for all of the melee weapons, but it's going to take me a little bit of time because I wanted to try and reach out to people who main those weapons in the high-elo lobbies. I know a few people already, but if you guys are somebody who does main a melee weapon and you are diamond or higher, feel free to reach out to me on Discord. The main thing I'm kind of looking for is combos and main strategies, some tips and tricks. I sort of understand.
Well, real talk, real quick tips and tricks. I saw this from man, I forgot his name. He's not, I don't think he's top diamond or whatever, but I saw this guy's video, and if I ever find his name, I'll give him credit. But if you're dual swords, it's a double jump now, dog. You go on like a little pad, like, you know, just take like this jump pad right here. You get on the jump pad. If you do this and then this, it has a little lunge to it, and you could propel yourself forward, and it's like a second jump, a double jump. Not only that, but if you're going to jump this side and you jump, you could go here and go the opposite direction.
Most of the weapons, but I think with the shift to the new damage values and the new combos, the new mechanics, it's taken me a while to try to figure out exactly the most efficient way to combine it. Quick melees, left clicks, right clicks. I want to figure out the most effective way, or, you know, in this situation, what's best. So if you guys have understood the changes and you understand how to use the melee weapons and you're a high elo player, like I said, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be getting around to a video.
Yeah, top players, no scrubs. If you're a scrub, keep walking, dog.
Covers all the melee weapons in the future. Consider subscribing if you're not already. Come check me out live on Twitch. I'm going to be grinding this game quite a bit early season, so hopefully by the time that you guys are watching these videos, I'll be live. So come chat and say hi. Come get your free skins, and try to take these loadouts as blueprints to build off of and make your own specific meta. And I will see you in the finals.
All right, you know what? I already subbed to you, but I'm going to give this a like. I think it's good. 6 meta loadouts. When I think of meta, and if I'm thinking of you as the Larry Bird of the finals, I see meta as these are the top things, are significantly the best and the best of the best that you're going to get significant win after win after win. Like if you give me two choices and say, here's a Shack 50 and here's a spear, I'm going to tell you you're going to get more wins with a Shack 50 than with the spear. It seems like your definition of meta is just things that make you better for you, which is great. After watching this, there's a little bit that I agree with. Some of the loadouts, there's might be some loadouts I want to try out. And if it's not for me, I'll ask a couple of my buddies to try these loadouts when we go into ranked. Like for me, I don't like the Lewis gun. I like the M60. I feel like they're the same thing, but I like FCAR better than AKM. And I feel like for heavy, the M60 is the FCAR and the Lewis gun is the AKM. But again, for heavy, I see my meta as if I'm going to be light player, I have very little light, very little room for mistakes. And that means I can only make one mistake and then I'm dead. So for me as a light player, I want the weapons to hit hard, a big ass punch. If I'm having like a gun that's just sustained for light, I don't feel like I'm contributing anything. So I tend to lean towards the sniper for light. I usually lean to grapple light with sniper, or I do double barrel with cloak because I want to go in, hit as hard as I can, maybe net a kill, and then get out of there. So for me as a light player, all the other weapons are kind of like garbage to me. Now, I know those weapons I'd never use, they form a role, but my role as light is usually that. That's my play style. For medium, you said the pike, and I might try the pike again for the 20th time, but I'm never successful with the pike. For medium, honestly, I think medium's got the best melee options. I know there's hammer and there's light sword, but as a support role, as I see medium, I always see medium as a support role. I think the riot shield and the dual blades is perfect for that. And if I want to go gun, I'm going to go either FCAR or crossbow. So I don't know about you, but like with a pike, the recoil is kind of like, but the crossbow, as soon as you get like one or two shots and you just let it ride, it always is a headshot, dude. It's a headshot machine. And it's also good for dive too. You can just go blah, 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 and they're dead. And yes, I'm also a CL40 player, dude. I feel like one of the best times to use a CL40 is you have a team composition of two CL40s and one sustain. The CL40s just delete melee. If you're running into casual and there's a bunch of melee, you're like, man, I can't do anything against melee. Two CL40s just delete mediums and lights within 2 or 3 shots. So as long as you have a friend that's a CL40 brother and you guys coordinate your shots, like you'll just own teams. You'll own 50% of light medium teams. Now heavy is a little bit harder, but that's why you get your own heavy. And if your own heavy has sustain, whether it's M60 or, you know, minigun or whatever have you, it doesn't fucking matter. Hell, you can even do a flamer with lockbolt. But the heavy usually seals the deal against those other heavy teams. Man, you can just also choose, I mean, you can also just do a KS-23, dog. But that's my secret sauce to the internet, the CL40 brothers, dog. I've tried 3 CL40 teams. You get hard countered really easily. But 2 CL40s, you just delete 50% of the teams out there, and then they have to rely on their heavies. And as long as your heavy is smarter than the average bear, you'll win a lot of games. But I'm not in top 8 like Mr. Celebrity Applejacks here, so, you know, take it with a little grain of salt. So that's the video, and you know what? It's a good thumbnail. It's a good ending to it. I like that he gave 2 different loadouts per character, you know, light, medium, and heavy. And I like he talked about in detail and in reserve. Again, like I said, I came into this video thinking, I'm going to use a couple of these loadouts and see if I improve as a player. But after seeing some of his, you know, loadouts like the pike, I hate the pike. Now, you might agree with all of it. You might disagree with everything he says. But the biggest, most truthful thing is whatever works best for you. So if I'm going to be roaming with the homie G's at ranked and they need a light player, I'm probably going to pick a light that hits hard. And what usually hits hard for me? The sniper or the double barrel. Now, is it meta for anybody else? Probably not, but it works for me in the situations I go into. Hell, 2 of my homies, one of them's Peaches and one of them's Daddy. Daddy likes to just be Rambo. So he's out there, you know, being a jungler like in League of Legends, trying to do flanks and shit. And I'm like, okay, you're just a rogue man. You just do whatever you do. And he plays light, he plays cloak, and he always switches his weapons. It seems like he's got ADD for guns, but he's kind of good. So I just let him cook. He seals the deal. He saves us at times. I just let him cook. I don't put a leash on him. Peaches, on the other hand, he is a shift Wing maniac, but he's not really good at it. Yo, shots fired, dog. What he's really good is sealing the deal, and he's good at being a poke player. So I tell Peaches, dog, just stick with me. We're going to live right here in the corner. And he lives there with the collar, and then when it's time to let him loose, I take the leash off and I say, go get him, Peaches, and he just seals the deal. So we got Daddy as light and Peaches as a medium. What does that leave me? And for our dynamic, I was like, dog, I'll just be heavy so I could take the most mistakes to try to to try to save your ass when you guys die. And it works a lot. I have enough health to deal with the bullshit, to try to get their totems, to heal them. I have my blue balls as heavy. I got my M60 so I can shoot from afar because I know Daddy's out there somewhere. So I got to support him some way, somehow. And then Peaches, if he's next to me, he'll just heal me and I heal him. And then if they get close, I have my burst damage with RPG or open a wall. Somehow it just works. Now, is that like a really meta team? I don't know, but it's meta for us. Basically, when you play any game, you got to think about, okay, how do I win? Once you think about how do you win, you think about what is the best way for me to get in there. When it comes to fighting games, I like zoning. So I usually look at all the roster of the fighters and I say, who's the best at zoning? It doesn't necessarily mean just fireball spam, but fireballs are included in zoning. So it's like, who's the best zoner? Is it going to be Dalsim or is it going to be Sagat? For RTSs, I usually like the armies that have really good tech, and I usually try to rush to tech because I know those units are going to be the best of the best of the best. It's going to take time to get there. So I picked Protoss. I'm just like, you know what? F it. As long as I survive the first 5-minute rush, I'm going to win. And again, for me in the finals, I got to think about what role do I need to play and how could I be the best in that role? So again, out of everything that this man said, that is the most truest of words. Fuck it. He's not even the Michael Jordan of the finals. Mr. Appoh right here. Mr. Appoh, 6 meta loadouts to the season 11 of the finals. You are the Steve Madden of the finals. Never forget that. And this is coming from the Hulk Hogan of the finals. This is coming from Hulk Hogan of the finals, Jake the Snake of the finals. This is coming from the Steve Austin of the finals. Anyways, remember everybody, it doesn't matter. None of this shit matters. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.